It's my stapler.
Okay. As I'm sure Shaw has advised you, I'm just gonna. I guess I'll go over it again, and Shaw can make his comments wherever he wants. This whole conversation is just internal here for PD. It will never be used for court. This is just for us. We want to see what's going on with you, where your train of thought is. I want to hear where, what your gut feeling was in that situation. When you're put in a situation where you're, stuck between a rock and a hard place and you had to choose the lesser of two evils, why you chose that, where your train of thought is, where your intuition is. That's just, I want to hear just kind of what was going on and your interpretation of everything that was going on.
Okay.
Understood.
Can I speak to my attorney?
Well, give me just a second, Leonard. I do just want to make something very clear. Mr. Leonard here does not wish to make any voluntary statements to any questions that are going to be asked. That being said, if he does not answer any questions, is there anything from the police department's end that will occur?
No. Yes, we will tar and feather him.
Well, here's the issue at hand. Mr. Leonard here will not be covered by Garrity rights if there is no threat of discipline to his job. Because otherwise, anything he does say here can be used in court, and especially given that there's a court case against him at the moment.
Oh yeah, no, his job is definitely on the line.
So essentially what you're saying is if Mr. Leonard here does not answer, he will be subject to some form of discipline, correct?
Yep.
Okay. That being said, moving forward, anything that Mr. Leonard here does answer will be involuntary. He does, because again, he does not wish to voluntarily answer any questions. And given that he's being compelled to answer these questions, again, none of what he says moving forward can be used in court. Let's move on.
Alright, sweet.
Just wanted to get that cleared up. Sorry.
Yep, no, that's fine. Did you guys need to have a moment with each other? Or?
No, he pretty much just covered everything.
Okay, all right. So, let's start. What were with what you were doing prior to the request of 78 at Pillbox Medical.
I plead the fifth.
One thing, Leonard.
Oh, what?
My goodness. Leonard, all you have to say is that anything that you say moving forward is being compelled and is not voluntary, and then you can answer their questions.
Oh, right.
Keep in mind, he's not been Mirandized, so anything is all hearsay.
Right.
Unfortunately, voluntary statements are admissible in court.
Kylie Bitkin coming in with a raid.
Because the Fifth Amendment right is not self-executing. He has to invoke that right. So, that's why I wanted to clear that all up beforehand.
Thank you, Kylie, for the raid.
But, again, Leonard, all you have to say is that...
your script. You should write that out for him so he can just read from it.
No, I got it on my notepad.
You know what?
I wrote it down.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
I plead the fifth.
Oh my god. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
What? You told me to say that.
I did. You're right.
Well, I'm invoking that right to plead the fifth, so I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay.
All right.
They
Anything that I say from here on forward will be involuntary because my job is at the risk. Is that jeopardy? Okay, my job is at jeopardy.
They have made a threat of discipline.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Threat. Okay. All right. My job has been threatened, so anything that I say from here on forward is involuntary, and I will give you all the answers that you request from me, and they will be stated truthfully, but against my will. Based on. Yeah. All right.
I like this. Like an interrogation, but we're like crime lords.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay. All right.
All right. All right, so what do I answer questions now, or do I wait for them
Yeah,
to
so-
ask
Yes,
again?
yes, you answer the questions now.
Okay, so
So,
could you repeat
Prior
the question?
to his call out, yes. Prior to Officer Williams
Yeah.
making his request over the radio for 78 at Pillbox Medical, what were
Yeah.
you doing? And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
from that point forward, tell me chronologically what you experienced.
Well, I was at Mission Row eating a hot pocket in my cruiser. Do you want me to just go throughout the entire events from beginning to end? I think that could save a lot of time versus you asking a bunch of
you wanna
questions.
answer their questions.
Oh, okay.
You
All
wanna
right.
answer
So what
their
was the specific question?
prior
Well, the
to
specific
Williams making a
question-
oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, the specific question was for you to go through everything that had happened from your perspective. And then once you've made that statement, I'm basically like a stenographer. If there's any kind of questions, I can repeat back what it is that you had said to me and how you explained it, and then we can go into further detail pertaining to the question that we have. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am. So should I answer from beginning to end?
You should answer questions that they're asking.
Okay, but she asked for basically all the questions in one question. So should I give her all of the answer in one answer?
So tell us the story first. Tell us.
Okay, you know what?
Well, no,
No.
Leonard, no.
No.
Copper, it
No.
does have to be in
Chronological order.
question.
Okay, my question was,
Boom.
tell me, I'm asking, what were you doing prior to the request for 78 Pillbox Medical?
I was at Mission Row in my cruiser eating a Hot Pocket with the radio off.
So how do you know that that's what you were doing if the radio was off and they were asking for 78?
I know that I was eating a Hot Pocket at Mission Row prior to gunshots being heard. And then because I heard the gunshots, I immediately assumed, because I heard gunshots, that there would be the inevitable follow of radio chatter, which would, let me know why there was, gunshots and stuff. So I turned on the radio, and then lo and behold, there was radio chatter about the gunshots. Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, sweet. There's my answer. Boom.
Okay. So you heard the chatter and that is when you responded?
Yes. Oh my God!
Oh.
Dorian, I swear to fucking God, I'll.
I
shove
would
that
like to
notepad
press
down.
charges.
Okay, all right.
Will there be an internal affairs on that?
When
or-
you... Yeah, no, that'll be a separate thing. I'll need your guys' statements since you are
All right.
witnesses.
All right, 10-4.
So, Leonard,
Yes, ma'am.
from what where did you arrive at Pillbox Medical?
I came up through, let's see, I made a right out of Mission Row Motor Pool. I believe I went down Center Street, made a left on like Atlee or something like that. No, I made a left on San Andreas and then made an immediate right onto Strawberry, headed northbound towards where my assistance was requested, which was basically in front of Pillbox Medical Lower.
Lower, okay.
Yes.
When you arrived down there, what did you observe?
When I was coming northbound on Strawberry Avenue, it is my job to assess the situation, especially in a high stress situation, to make sure of my surroundings. Once I drove up northbound on Strawberry, I was just taking a look around. I noticed that there was a woman who resembled Brenda Pancakes. She was cowering by a bench just south of the main entrance of Lower Pillbox. She was just kind of squatting there. I moved forward with my vehicle towards a red in color vehicle that was disabled, it appeared to be, and was in the middle of the road, basically splitting all of the lanes on Strawberry in the middle, in the center divider, with a downed individual. I also saw Rogers over to the left, who had an AR out, and I positioned my vehicle north of that red vehicle that I just spoke of, and got out of my vehicle. At that point, I gave cover to the south, based on my intuition and instincts, because I don't feel like there was necessarily a threat coming from north. I feel like it was all contained towards the south. So I decided to hold up towards the south with my sidearm and wait for further instruction.
During this time, what were radio communications like? Were they scrambled, clear, and concise?
They were pretty clear, to the best of my recollection.
You said you were waiting for orders then, once you staged up. Who was the first person to speak with you?
Rogers was the first person that came over radio that I heard prior to me going to Pillbox, and then during the situation at Pillbox.
What did he say to you when you arrived?
It was a very heated situation. There was a lot going on. It's hard for me to remember exactly what was said up until the point that I heard a call out for a tan or brown, I can't remember, in color cavalcade that was involved in the situation. I heard shots fired, need assistance, something to that effect, I believe, once I turned on the radio from Mission Row.
What was all the information that you were told regarding the brown or cavalcade?
Hold on. Should I tell him what I saw? Yeah, you should. Okay. All right. So when I was positioned on Strawberry Avenue, it was just south of the overpass, and I positioned my car north of the red vehicle, and I was basically in between the two vehicles. I was giving cover to the south with my sidearm raised. I looked towards the south. I saw a cavalcade basically plummet from the top floor of Pillbox Medical. Almost, when you go to the top floor of Pillbox, there's this like little fucking like area that's kind of taped off with like this like little barrier. It's like almost like it's like a do not cross, but you can just push it off. Anyway, it seemed as though that cavalcade leaped from that point down towards Strawberry. When I
did it plummet or did it leap?
It was more of a lateral.
Did it fly?
It didn't fly, because that would insinuate that it could like maneuver, but it was very uncontrolled. So I would say that it fell. Let's just say fell. That's a good word. So it fell from upper Pillbox down to lower Pillbox. Okay. As I was driving past lower Pillbox, I like I had previously stated, I noticed Brenda Pancake. She was it looked like she was just kind of cowering there. That cavalcade kind of landed right in her vicinity. And then over the radio, I heard a call out that cavalcade was involved. It was at that time that I heard shots fired towards it from an AR, so I started taking shots. It drove past me going northbound. I was unable to subdue the driver, so I started taking shots at the back tire, and then it drove past.
Do you recall the exact line of communication from Rogers about the vehicle other than it was involved in some sort of capacity?
I heard that cavalcade is involved.
Did you witness the cavalcade at any stage make any maneuvers that may put officers' lives in danger?
I believe that, I mean, my butthole puckered a little bit when he was coming northbound in my direction. I was afraid that he might turn into me.
Did you at any stage witness any weapons or firearms from the inside of the vehicle being pointed at officers?
The vehicle was going way too fast for me to determine such a specific, you know.
You able to give a rough estimate of the speed of the vehicle?
I would say, based on my experience, this is just my experience, from the time that it landed to the time that it was at me, I would approximate its speed at least 80 miles an hour.
All right, so you shot at the tires in an attempt to disable the vehicle. Was it successful?
It was at that point that it drove further north of me as I was still taking shots. Once essentially it got to the other side of the overpass, and the individual inside the vehicle, it looked as though the cavalcade crashed into the side barrier, and then the individual exited the vehicle and then ran across 4 lanes of traffic from east to west. As far as it being disabled, I mean, I assume that it was disabled based on the amount of fire that it took and the fact that I shot out the tire.
Do you recall what the radio communication was like during this time as he fled on foot?
To be perfectly honest, I don't recall very much radio traffic after he exited the vehicle.
Did you at any stage while on foot notice him with anything in his weapon that may be a firearm or some sort of weapon?
It was at the point that he exited his vehicle. I took shots at him as he was crossing the freeway. He was, like I said, if you're familiar with Strawberry, on the south side of the overpass to the north side of the overpass, I would estimate that it to be maybe half a football field to a football field in length. It would be hard for me to determine definitively whether or not he had a gun in his hand at that time.
Did you possibly see him motion towards his waistband as if he was putting something away or pulling something out?
Again, as I stated, at that distance, it was pretty hard to make out much of anything other than his body. I mean, he was within range of my firearm, but I don't recall seeing him with a weapon or reaching for a weapon, or I don't recall him seeing without a weapon or not without a weapon. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. Did you, at any stage as you approached him in the shoulder, give him any sort of verbal commands?
He was on the shoulder. I was still on the other side of the overpass. I was running towards him. He would he would not have been able to hear me. I'm sorry to say.
That's fine.
So as you approached, what did you witness happening on the side of the freeway there after you made it over the barrier on the shoulder?
As he was running across the freeway, Owen Svensson was driving his vehicle northbound to get to get closer to him, and then he ran out of his vehicle and started to give pursuit. At that point, I heard automatic gunfire from my left, and I continued to take shots at him as I ran towards the person that exited the vehicle. It wasn't until... well, I'm just going to leave it at that. If you have another question, I can answer.
Okay. So as you were approaching, you did hear gunfire. And
Correct.
am I right to say that by hearing that, you concluded that it was coming from the suspect that you were pursuing?
Negative. No.
Okay. All right.
It was coming from my left. I was under the assumption at the time.
So like
that it
way
was
back
coming,
towards Pillbox Medical, right?
somewhat. At that time, I was kind of lateral with Pillbox Medical when I heard the shots. So, based on the scene, it was gunshots coming from my side towards him.
As you approached closer on foot, did you hear his pleas to stop shooting?
No.
And
It
did
was-
you hear Deputy Svensson pleads to cease fire?
I did hear Svensson tell me to cease fire once I was right on top of the scene on the shoulder, and after I had taken another shot, which was, I feel like it could have possibly been the shot to that Mr. Swolroyd succumbed to.
Did you at any stage during the shooting reload your service handgun?
I believe I reloaded it before I ran towards the suspect, because I had opened fire on the cavalcade several times south of the overpass, and then as I pursued north, I believe I reloaded as I was going north. I actually don't remember that. I don't remember reloading at all.
Just out of curiosity, I know that I myself can't ask any questions, but do you guys intend on asking about the landscape of the area he was in?
I don't know, Shaw. Do you think we're gonna do that? I mean, you can't possibly read our minds, and we're still asking questions.
Well, I'm asking because the area was brought
Are
up
you
before.
leading our line of questioning?
No, not at all.
He doesn't even have
I'm
anything
just
on
curious.
his notepad.
I have almost every word written in this damn room on my notepad. You shut up, Leonard.
Okay, yes, sir.
I want proof.
Do you? Ask me a question, I'll give you the answer. Bring up a question.
How fast did Deputy Leonard believe the vehicle was traveling?
Is that how you worded it?
Sorry.
Well,
I believe the question you asked, are you able to give a rough estimate of the speed of the vehicle? I believe he said, I would say, based on my experience, from the time it landed to the time it was at me, say approximately 80 miles an hour.
Boom. He's listening. Look at that shit.
Oh, you got done, Draven.
Yeah, no, it was a good guess.
Couldn't even remember your own question. All right, let's
No,
go on.
no, I phrased it in the sense of already knowing the answer. I didn't ask the original question I asked.
Boom.
All right, go on. I do apologize for interrupting.
Deputy Leonard,
Pretty thought
at
through my
any
notes.
point did you see the suspect attempt to drop anything or drop anything while he was fleeing?
At any point? At any point did I see him attempt to drop anything? Not to my knowledge. Not to my recollection, no.
Once Mr. Swalroyd was neutralized, did you find a firearm on his person or any other sort of weapon?
Yes, sir, I did. I found a pistol.
Upon neutralizing Mr. Swalroyd and finding that pistol, did you GSR test him?
Yes, sir, I did.
How did that test come back?
Negative.
After Mr. Swalroyd had been neutralized, did you make efforts to help his recovery before EMS could arrive?
I did. I held pressure on the wounds.
At any point over the radio or within earshot, did Deputy Spenson make any notion or mention that he had lethal and was switching to non-lethal?
Are you asking if Deputy Svensson said that he was switching from lethal to non-lethal or vice versa? Is that what your question was?
Yes, sir.
No, I never heard that.
Did you at any stage see Deputy Svensson change from his service pistol to a less than lethal taser?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my recollection.
At any stage did you see Deputy Svensson discharge his service pistol?
Did I see him discharge a service pistol? No, I did not. Yeah, that's Dorian. That's Raven. That's Copper. And then there's him. And Shaw. Hey, buddy.
Hello.
How am I doing?
Doing good.
Apologies, just going over everything we have here.
Shoot, yeah. You've been keeping up with the case since you met Shaw yesterday.
Ask questions
About the what?
about the landscape.
Okay.
Can you describe to us the landscape? I'm really curious. I would like to know about what was going on in your surroundings as you were pursuing your suspect. I want to know
Yes.
that, please.
I too am also very interested in this.
It was a flat and even road from east to west in which Curtis Swolroyd decided to escape from the vehicle that had been disabled for whatever reason. Once he arrived on the west side of the freeway, it was a grassy knoll. There were bushes. I believe there might have been a tree.
Did you have line of sight on Mr. Swalroyd the entire time during his foot pursuit?
No, I did not. Was that the wrong thing?
No, I wonder if it's
What?
ran through the bushes.
Okay. Yeah, he totally did. That's the truth. Should I say that?
Only if they ask.
Okay.
Did he climb the tree?
He did not climb the tree, no ma'am.
Did he go near the tree, the supposed tree that was over there?
There was a tree, and I do believe he ran past it.
Did he at any point slow down and consider maybe going up the tree to escape?
It was not my intuition that he was considering climbing the tree at any point.
Were there were there bushes by the tree?
There were bushes. There were at least 5, from what I recall.
5. Okay.
At least. Okay, no more.
Were
We will be counting
No
these.
less. Okay, there were a million
So-
bushes then.
you describe the foliage? Was it more like they were
Green.
I don't know, like they're green, leafy, super leafy, or just like little branches with little bits of leaves?
Oh, that was a good. It was a good hardy bush. You know, it was. Some of the bushes were, you know, they reminded me of some of the magazines my dad had when I was a kid. So I mean, they were pretty thick and
What?
and billowy.
If I were to crouch inside the bushes, would you be able to see me?
Those bushes. If somebody were to crouch in those bushes, no, I don't believe someone would be able to get you know, would be able to see them clearly.
Would it be plausible that Mr. Swolward was going to try and hide in the bushes?
I mean, anything is plausible, but I doubt that he would have. You know what? I don't want to
I
speculate.
mean, if I saw them and I was like, man, I want to get away from the cops, I'm going to hide here in these bushes, do you think they would actually help them along?
Okay, so, like, I'm afraid to answer this question speculatively, but, all right, so let's just say, hypothetically, there was a criminal who had lost line of sight of police officers and decided that that was the bush that they wanted to insert themselves in. Deeply, then it's potentially it's plausible that they would have been able to do so and be hidden.
It was a pretty good hardy bush.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was a
Okay.
hardy bush. Yeah, it was taken care of, well, by nature, I guess, because I mean it wasn't the bushes that the hospital takes care of. It was like natural bushes, but you know sometimes those are the best ones.
If a
Did
presidential motorcade were to pass by the grassy knoll, you believe it would provide enough sniper vantage to possibly harm the president?
I believe that someone would be able to potentially strike the president back and to the left from those bushes. Yes.
I'm not
What?
writing that.
Do you believe Mr. Swolroyd's intentions was to take an attempt on the president's life?
At that point, no, sir, because the president wasn't scheduled to be in town that day. So I don't think that was his particular intention. Write this
Okay,
down.
that's the end of my line of questioning.
To be fair, we do have an orange stand with
Wait.
It's a much bigger target.
Wait, we have a what? Excuse me one second.
Orange stand.
Orange.
Yeah, we just need to be excused.
Okay, what?
The orange stand, the big one, up towards Polito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with the penis?
Yeah, I mean that. Huh? No.
There's an orange stand
Listen,
and there's like 2
never mind.
oranges and a banana and it looks like a penis. Is that what the one you're talking about?
No.
Leonard?
That's
Yes.
the fruit
Oh. Yes,
stand
ma'am.
I'm talking-
You Can you run me through your line of thought? You witnessed a man exiting the vehicle. You didn't see anything in his hands or anything like that. Were you concerned that maybe he was going to try and conceal himself in the bush and then, like, turn back and fire upon you?
Can I speculate? Or no? Should I speculate?
Absolutely, on the basis that they're asking for your thoughts at the time and your justification behind what had happened.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
in saying that, again, do take into account the landscape. You know, bushes potentially
Right.
losing line of sight. But again,
Oranges.
this is your.
Yeah, oranges. Okay.
Go on.
Yeah.
If
Alright.
that plays into it, I wanna know because
Okay.
I guess I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, you know.
All right.
Oh, wait, hold on. Actually, one more thing.
Yeah.
Hey, do you think they're gonna ask whether or not it'd be possible to, temporarily lose line of sight and then pull out a gun and then fire back at you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. That is literally
Oh,
what I'm
oh.
asking.
Oh, I'm
Is
sorry.
that-
I
That was a concern that had crossed his mind, given the leafage, the foliage of these bushes and this potential tree that was in the area. Was there a concern that they would have used that to momentarily conceal themselves entirely, or their hands to double back and then fire upon police officers?
Objection, leading. Wait, damn it. I don't do that.
just answer
Okay.
the question.
Right.
Answer the question.
All right. So, all right. In all seriousness, the individual jumped out of his vehicle, or ran out of his vehicle, went westbound across the 4 lanes of traffic. His left side was facing me. It is my. But it is in, like, if somebody were to want to pull out a gun or already had a gun, based on the situation at hand, he could potentially have already had that gun in his hand, in his right hand. I would not have seen that. So I approached this situation as an individual that was originally called out to be involved. So I did what I thought was necessary for the situation. Now, as he went across the highway and ran over into the grassy knoll that could totally shoot the president, he could have. I did lose sight between. I lost sight, I believe, a couple of times when he ran through across the highway. There was the pylon in the center that obstructs my view, and then there was also I believe he jumped over something, which, I mean, potentially, like, it was about waist high, I believe, and I feel like at that point he could have easily pulled something out. He was in an area with unkempt bushes. They were not trimmed, and I mean, at that point, I mean, it could be anything. Based on my experience, in my line of work, I have witnessed people pulling out a gun with the cop next to them and shooting them dead, or shooting them to incapacitate. So. In my head, he could have pulled out a gun at any point during that time, and it wasn't until, well, I won't go there.
Did you at all witness Mr. Swolroyd put his hands in the air?
No.
So, based off of the totality of the situation, you felt that as he was running away, he could still turn around and pose a threat?
He was a risk at any point during that entire encounter.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I was involved in a situation with 4 people inside of an SUV that we were giving chase to. There was 2 people from inside that SUV that took shots on several officers. 1 person escaped and fled on foot. The entire time that he was running away on foot, he had his hands in the air. I told the other officer on duty, I believe it was Diaz, to not shoot at him because he had his hands in the air. All right, and then I focused my shots and my attention towards the people in that vehicle and around that vehicle. It is not my intention to kill someone who does not deserve to be killed. It is not my intention to shoot someone who does not deserve to be shot, and it is not my intention to shoot someone who has made it abundantly clear that they are either willing to give up or not part of that situation.
Okay, listen, my fingers can only write so fast, okay?
No, you're doing great, Leonard.
You're
love
doing
it.
great, Leonard. I love it too.
Yeah, don't let your lawyer hold you down. Sky's the limit.
Leonard, I do have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Were you aware, or are you aware of any other calls that came in through dispatch and the CAD system involving that cavalcade?
At the time?
Yes, sir.
Not at the time. No, sir.
Okay, and then another question for you. At any point during the foot pursuit, did you see, and this may sound crazy, but did you see Curtis gain or exhibit an unhuman-like boost of speed while he was running?
I mean,
Hold on, Leonard. I need clarification. Are you asking if he drank like a Red Bull or something? If he grew wings?
If he
What's
could've-
up? Call
if he
me
could've
Grub.
taken anything,
What up, dude?
Crack.
drank something, crack,
Oh, okay, all right. Unhuman.
anything to give him an advantage in his getaway.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So what's the
Crack
question?
open a cold one with the bros and
Did it look like he had a gain of speed? Is that the question?
Yeah, at any point while you were pursuing, while Mr. Swalleroyd was running, did you see him pick up speed at a very fast pace to where he would quickly be out of your line of sight?
I mean, if this is kind of a hard question to answer. Once he jumped over once he ran across the highway, I mean, you know, obviously he slowed down to try to get onto the grassy knoll, and then he picked up speed as he was running around, you know, on that side of the freeway. But I don't know how to answer this. I mean, he did pick up speed at one point, but at what, like a superhuman rate? I don't know how to answer that.
Say faster than what you or I could, keep up with.
Based on my experience with people in the city who have attempted to flee police in manners that would allow them to have an advantage, I don't believe that I witnessed that day. Who's the guy on the right? It's Dorian.
All right, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
The defense rests at this time. Sorry, we're not in court.
Oh, you
I'm getting a
want
little
to
thirsty though. No, I'm fine. Don't worry. Don't mind me.
Anybody want any weed?
Is anyone a little hungry? Maybe a little thirsty? I've got money shots and water for everyone.
No. Anybody want any
fine,
weed?
thank you.
I got 18 joints on me. And Curtis's gun.
I think I might.
No? Okay.
I stopped carrying my weed on me because I got robbed once.
Yeah, I've gotten robbed before. Coming right out
Who's
of the...
that a shootout?
Was it by Curtis?
No, it
No.
was not, because then that would be premeditation.
No, I got robbed by Maximilian Thoroughbred after he got done shooting me.
He's in prison.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Next topic. Let's get back to the
That's the
question.
way that key.
Oh, he's your boyfriend.
Hopper.
Oh yeah, I forgot how concerned you were, Sean.
No,
My
you
bad.
sometimes
I know you
hear
get
the
really
screams
choked
of
up whenever I
insanity
bring up the fact
sometimes.
that this psychopath almost killed me and you almost lost your best friend. I'm so sorry.
He was a criminal.
Y'all
It's a
catch this new
terrorist.
single called "Life in Prison"?
Terrorist. Wait, he's my attorney. I should probably not. Hey, no,
You
no, no,
tried
no,
to
no, no,
murder
no,
my
no, no,
boyfriend.
no, no, nope. You're not leaving.
Can't lock him in here. Actually,
Oh, that would be
there's
false
no proof
imprisonment.
if we do.
Yeah.
If we do something
Well-
to him, there's no proof.
No, hey, you need to jump, but please don't leave.
you're not wrong.
I want an apology.
I love you.
Oh yeah? See, this is the thing, Leonard. Now that you're on this side of the law, I want you to understand how other people feel. Okay? Do you feel that you are being properly charged with the crime? No?
No. Right?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Welcome to the other side, Leonard.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can understand now. You know?
Wait,
that-
are you?
That
Wait,
not
are you-
everything being pursued by the other side is true, Leonard. Okay?
Are you
Not
s-
everything is true.
Are you still defending him? He shot cops.
He shot me.
He shot her.
You shot me and my
He shot
boyfriend.
him.
I'm
Yeah,
not
he shot me
saying
too.
he didn't shoot you guys. That's not what I'm saying.
Right,
Just
but did you get
understand-
riddled with
And-
545 AK
And he
bullets?
stole my weed. He stole my
her
weed. And he
Yeah,
stole
that's
my
true.
Mustang.
And her Mustang.
And
You can do
Shut
Stole
up.
better.
And my phone.
$35
The
I had
point
on
I'm
me.
trying to get across
Shaw.
is
That was my
you
cigarette
guys
money.
are taking a situation at face value. Okay?
You can do better.
Understand that people are put in positions that they don't want to be in. Out of
Oh,
their
I'm
control.
sorry. Oh man, I was
Oh,
just
yeah,
put into a
yeah, I
position where I
forgot.
became a terrorist.
yeah, I forgot the part where I forced Dave to shoot me in the vagina. My bad.
You
It slipped my mind.
you can do better.
What if? Hear me out, because I know I have a lot of people from command and high command. What if he was forced to do a job against his will, and that was the only way to go about doing it?
Oh, do you have information
what
that
if
might
it wasn't-
actually be able to help
No.
us? Are you
you
saying that
obstructing
Dad was
point I'm just-
potentially?
the point
withholding
I'm trying to
information?
get the point I'm listen. If I had information, it would be privileged. Okay. Furthermore, the point I'm trying to make here is you have to consider all sides. Did he wake up that day with the intent to shoot at multiple officers, or was he forced to do
Yes.
something
Yes.
against his will that
Yes,
threw him in that position?
Yeah, no, that's what he told me.
He
Yeah.
admitted
It's
it.
also
Well, if he
in
had
his,
a job and was told, "Hey, if you
manifesto.
listen, if he had a job and
He
he
said
was
he'd do
told,
it again, too.
hey, well, listen to me. If he had a
I'm
job
listening, Sean.
and they said, if you don't succeed, you are dead. Don't
wanna
think
know
he'd
what he
say
also said
something
to
that
me?
that might get him thrown in
Sean?
jail? Listen, I don't care what he said. Because I know Dad, and I know that for starters, he's not dumb enough to tell the police shit. Unless he had no other choice. What if life in prison was his only way to actually survive? What if? But no, you guys have a very
If he is in the
one-sided,
most
he
secure
said it, so
holding
it must
facility
be
in
true.
this state, why would he not then give us even a trickle, the tiniest bit of information that, hey, there might be someone else out there you should look into to be able to get justice for not just all the officers that I murdered because of this terrible situation, but also myself, who was put in this situation. Sure, you were making up excuses for a
I'm
mentally
sorry, are
deranged
you not
terrorist.
offering $150,000 for information leading to the arrest of Bovice? Clearly you guys did your job there.
I'm totally gonna get that.
Well, I mean, what if I mean,
Okay,
we're
sure.
equal opportunities. What if we just want to give people money? Look, Shaw. Maximilian said a lot of things, but there's definitely things that he did not say, which was, I'm going to see Shaw again. What he did say is, Copper,
went
I'm
off the
gonna
rails
see you
quick.
again.
Wait, am I on trial or is Shaw on trial?
Let's not talk about it.
He can't hurt you anymore.
I'm just saying, a situation can totally look one-sided until you consider everything.
People like Maximilian Thoroughbed are pathological liars who do nothing but manipulate those around them who get close. Look at Miss Hall.
That's bullshit. You're just
did
not
the same
taking
thing
into
to
account
Jenny
the
Hall.
totality of the situation here.
He did
Mr.
nothing
Shaw,
wrong.
I just think you're a beta male.
He did nothing wrong.
Wow.
A beta
He did
male?
nothing wrong.
Wow.
He's an attorney.
You know what? You know what?
Hey, Raven,
Okay,
I'll be
that's...
sure to not represent you if you ever get charged with something because you
That's
thought you were
okay,
doing
I
right.
won't.
That's premeditated.
And neither will the DA's office.
That's premeditated
That's okay.
non-representation.
I won't be charged.
That's illegal.
You
I'll
won't be
represent him.
charged. You say that. Say that.
Oh, I do. Plus, I'm pretty sure I need to
Do you
check
think
actually
Leonard
if
woke up
O'Banion's still
you
on
think
my
he woke
retainer.
up and just said, "Hey, I'm gonna do something that's gonna get me potentially charged with attempted second-degree murder"? No, it was an accident.
Yes.
You know what insurance exists for, Raven? It's not for, planning an accident. It's for when it happens outside of your control. Shit happens outside of your control, and if you live a life just based on things that you believe are in your control, you are gonna have a very rough time.
So you're telling me when Mr. Thoroughbred
gonna
woke up
be
every
okay,
day
Shaw.
and loaded a Class 2 firearm and body armor on,
And
he was like,
didn't
man,
shoot day in and day
I'm
out.
not gonna... Ooh, I'm pretty sure I got plenty of offer-involved shooting reports to argue that fact, Mr. Shaw.
Really, how many times has he been charged with attempted any kind of murder on a peace officer prior to his arrest?
Prior to his arrest, I couldn't tell you, but I'll tell you right now, he
couldn't
admitted
tell
to
me
every
because
single
the answer is 0.
No, it's useless information to me now. The terrorist was apprehended and is no longer at large. That information
No longer
went
at large?
straight out.
Well, here's the thing. Legally, if you're going to be going away for life, you're not required to have representation. But let's just say if you don't have representation to understand your full legal rights, that can be appealed and very likely will be appealed. Okay?
You know what
And I
feel
can't
like
wait.
I'm looking
I
at
cannot
more and
wait to
more
see the
here,
day
Mr.
until he
Shaw,
is back.
is that you feel betrayed because he didn't ask for your representation when he admitted all this thing and went to prison for life. You feel betrayed because you feel like he wasn't come help me, Kevin. You feel
That
useless.
is not the case. That's not... I feel useless. Really. But you're talking to the person
Kevin, you're
who has
not
represented
useless.
him time and time again and was never convicted of any attempted murder on a peace officer for any situation prior to until he allegedly admitted to doing it all.
Leonard,
So
I
who
want
did
to
the good
thank you
job?
for taking time out of your day and coming down here and speaking with us. Is there any other statements that you'd like to make or any other smaller detail that comes to mind that you think would be pertinent for us to know?
Hey, Leonard, that's voluntary.
Okay.
Putting that out there.
Right. The only statement that I would like to reiterate is what I said about the situation where we were involved in a 1080 southbound with 4 individuals that shot at police officers, and one individual got out running away from the situation with their hands in the air, and I made sure to tell other officers that that individual is obviously not wanting to be involved in a way that is going to end their life, and for us to focus on the individuals left at the vehicle and left in the situation that were involved and that were shooting, and that I would not intentionally try to kill anybody against their will, my will, or anything else. I am here to uphold the law. I am here to uphold the ethics and standards in which I was appointed to this position for, and I don't feel like I did anything grossly negligent, and I would do it again based on the information that was provided to me in that situation.
I got a question. Do you feel that you were ill-equipped in the amount of information or the type of information you're given for you to perform in that current situation?
Based
Can we
on
get clarity on that question? Wait, hold on. Can we get clarity? Are you referring to now or at the time?
No,
that it occurred?
at the time. Well, okay. Actually, I guess this is more of like a reflection. Having seen everything, do you feel that in that time that you were prepared?
I feel that the information that I had at the time that I came on duty and turned on my radio and responded to that scene, I feel that there was enough communication on the radio based on what I had heard and what I had seen to make a decision to do what I did.
Okay. May not look like it, but I'm writing notes.
Same. My arms are crossed, but my note-taking skills haven't stopped.
Same.
I just enjoy the silence.
Silence
I like
is good.
listening to Shaw whine and complain. It's actually one of my favorite things about him.
I like hearing
I'm
the
just
blood
saying there's-
rushing through my ear vessels. It's like a shell.
I need a second.
When you're on the beach and you hold a shell up to your head, and then your grandparents, they tell you, oh, that's the ocean. And even though you're in, Wichita, Kansas, and it's like, there's no way that's the ocean. I'm not that stupid. But it does kind of sound like the ocean. But then later you find out in life that they had lied to you, and all it was the fucking sound of the blood rushing through your fucking ear. I'll never forget them for that. Just Santa Claus all over again.
I don't have any more. I don't have any favorite.
The interview's concluded.
Can I ask you guys a question before you guys all go? Have you guys seen that citywide quotes Twitter account?
Oh, here we go.
I know that sounds strange. I know it sounds strange.
What are you alluding to, Shaw?
No, it's just I was featured on there.
Oh,
Would you like to know my quote?
Oh, I got one. Oh, no. Tell me yours, I'll tell you mine. Mine's so fucked up.
Yeah, mine sort of too. Mine was, what's wrong with gobbling dicks?
Oh my god. That's my attorney, folks.
What was yours?
There's nothing wrong with. I'm looking for it. There's nothing wrong with gobbling dicks.
I mean, it's 2019, Shaw.
Yeah. What the fuck is that meant to mean?
Listen. There's nothing wrong with gobbling dicks, okay? But I don't want to be Kevin Shaw gobbling dicks at law.
We don't know if there's going to be a case definitively.
So what if you were?
We'll
What
see.
difference would
We'll
that
see.
make?
Yeah. Next subject. What was yours, Copper?
Hey, chat. I think after this we're gonna host Classy Packs.
I'm trying to find it. It's actually
He
really
is
bad. 'cause
playing
it's
Dr.
really bad
Maw
context.
on No Pixel.
I got it. Quick, interrogate her before her lawyer. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, that was it.
Quick, interrogate her before her lawyer gets down here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
No,
good.
that checks out completely.
Oh, that's great. That is so good.
That's pretty good. I remember doing it too. I was running down the stairs, and I was like, "Quick, let's interrogate."
Is the
before
question
lawyer
that
gets
I
here."
think so.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Why do you have a
Alright.
stick?
Were there any
out?
more
That's
questions?
the context. That was
Wait,
the context.
Yeah,
thing.
that's right. Because it was Nora who was the lawyer, right? I was upstairs distracting her. Yeah, I was
Yep.
up there distracting
Yep.
her. You were at
Yep.
You know what's funny? Shortly after Nora got bar certified, after she had been a paralegal for a while, I forget which officer she told, but she was like, "You should take that stick out from your ass," and the whole DOJ pretty much got a
Not like
meeting
Yella.
over that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we have to be professional. Mm-hmm. Yep. Can't
Yeah, no,
tell
I'm always
cops to do
professional.
that.
Look, I got heels.
You know, seeing you guys in not uniforms is great.
Yeah, this is my court outfit.
I've only been wearing a uniform
I never
for the
wear it
past,
'cause I
like,
don't-
month.
I don't go to court. I don't have to.
Should I have worn a badge? Oh wait, never mind. It's fine. Never mind.
You're offended, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hey Shaw, my suit, it still has a spot for my triple branded hatchet.
Feels bad, man.
Wait, what?
I have no badge.
Yeah, my suit got a space for my triple branded hatchet. Can't see it, but it's there. Yeah.
Branded hatchet.
Mm-hmm.
This is the hat that goes with the suit because
Oh damn it! I don't have
it's
mine.
it's my off-duty campaign hat. Oh my god, you look
No wonder-
so fucking stupid, Shaw.
No, that's from another outfit. That's from
Why
my
do you
Young Dice
leave your
outfit.
house? Why do you leave the house looking like that?
Hold on. Let me see if I've got something else in here.
There.
Nope.
This is the whole shebang. Good.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All
right. Well, it was fun.
it was fun. Wait, no, it wasn't
Actually, hold on. I do have a couple questions. I don't know if you're going to be able to provide answers. I don't know
can
if
try.
Leonard himself is asked.
Okay.
How long is his suspension? Because I know it's pending investigation
Until
or
further
whatever.
notice.
But is there any insight as to if and when he'll be able to resume his duties as a police officer?
He is currently on administrative leave, not suspension.
Administrative
not
leave.
suspended.
Gotcha, sorry.
Yeah. So, as far as high command goes, I try to press everybody to at least have an answer, solution, or course of action within 24 hours.
Perfect.
So that course of action, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily ending the suspension, but we'll be able to move forward. I just need to be able to give everybody that's in different time zones a chance to chime in, read the information, and give feedback.
Perfect. Okay. In saying that, the only thing that I really ask, and I know this is going to be done, but I just want to make sure, is that, the entire situation between all parties is taken into account. I know Leonard at the time, actually scratch that, I'm not going to say that, but there are very important things that weren't necessarily mentioned here, that were hinted at in the questioning, such as the vehicle being stolen at gunpoint. Now, Leonard at the time wasn't exactly aware of that, but the radio communications from Rogers to Leonard implied that without actually stating it. You know, he's involved, but again, Leonard, that's the only piece of information that Leonard had at the time. But in saying that, I
that
do
line
have a
of
question.
questioning is more along the
Go
lines
ahead.
of more like I wanted to know, my intent with the internal investigation is to understand what was going on with him, where his headspace was at with the information and all of the just everything going on around him, how he was interpreting that and how he was choosing to act and behave, and his conclusions based on what was given to him. That's what's most important.
Gotcha.
The things that
Okay.
you're kind of asking for, that's more of like the it's kind of more courtroom type things.
Oh,
Because
no, yeah,
I'm looking
you
more
are right.
towards, based off of the information, like where have we failed? Are we not training things properly? Did something go on in this situation where, certain protocols and things like that had failed? This is so that we can take responsibility for what's going on, making sure that I'm not teaching him something or the rest of the officers are teaching him something, and then he goes out there in the streets and he performs to the best of his knowledge, but we're setting him up for failure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I think I do get what you're saying, and it's definitely more of a court thing. I sort of just wanted more clarification from the PD's perspective as to whether or not, like, if one officer says something because they have information that another doesn't, and they communicate that in a brief summarized version to another officer, is that intended to be taken as, like, is that being taken into account, I guess is what I'm asking. Like, Copper.
Well, the way that it's set up is that if I'm going to give any of my officers information, the intent is to set everybody else up around me for success. Everybody's meant to be an extension of who I am. Whatever I know, I need the other officers to know, because based on our training and like the repetition that we have, we should all be on the same playing field. Does that make sense?
Yep, but in a high stress situation where time is limited, there's a lot going on, and you don't necessarily have the time to communicate exactly what happened, but you can get the point across by saying just a few words. Is that acceptable? I'm not trying to turn this on Rogers. I want to make that very clear. I'm just curious to know whether or not I can use that as a defense. Because Rogers was aware.
Oh, this is one of those where you call me and you're like, all right, I'm in this thing. How would you handle it? So then you can figure out how you're gonna learn. All right, let me think.
Yeah. So I'll give you my thought process right now. Rogers was aware the vehicle was stolen at gunpoint. Vehicle then arrives. Rogers makes a call out into the radio saying the vehicle's involved.
Yes.
But that's it. Leonard then has to take that information while arriving sort of at the same time, sees his vehicle plummet from, well, not plummet, but essentially ramp off of upper pillbox to lower, right? No reasonable person would do that.
Okay.
Is it wrong for Leonard to assume that person, especially given the circumstances and everything going on at that time, is directly involved in Wait, were the other officers shot? I didn't get that information, actually. Now that I think about it.
Reiner was slumped
Reinhardt and
over in her
Williams.
vehicle, and who else was there?
Williams was
I believe.
incapacitated.
Yeah,
I believe.
Williams.
Was it gunshot wounds? Were they?
I'll say that at least these are the two things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at does Leonard have, based on what he recollects, is there enough information there, if I put myself in Leonard's shoes, that I would feel comfortable pulling the trigger to subdue that person? And that's why I wanted to know what he saw, what he witnessed, what he felt, the totality of the situation, what kind of information that he remembers receiving, and then based on that information, what fueled him to pull the trigger. The other thing that I'm also looking at is what was the information that was given to him, and was he steered wrong?
Gotcha. Okay, understood.
So as far as I can tell, those are the two major things for me that I'm looking at. And then based off of those things and again, this is an eternal thing that where did we fail as far as training, especially in those high stakes situations, because those happen frequently, you know?
I don't feel
I'm
like
not saying that
anybody
everybody should
failed
be
anywhere.
desensitized to it or anything like that. Right, but
Yep.
if you're only told to pursue a vehicle, is there enough information there for you to pull your trigger on that vehicle? If all you're told is that to follow that, that's the vehicle.
See, that's the thing, is that
What
wasn't all the
what does that
information
tell
that I
me,
had.
and what is? Yeah. So that's why I asked. I'm like, I needed the totality. I was like, okay, so he's arriving in a situation where he's observing people that are down. He saw a vehicle launch off of a platform. He heard gunshots. Like, what is adding up here to put himself in that situation to then pull that trigger? That's what this is about. And those are the two things that I'm weighing, and what led to, I guess, that outcome.
Understood. All right. Well, thank you guys. I do appreciate the explanation. I think for the most part we're all set, unless you guys have anything else.
You gentlemen?
I don't have any further questions.
Yeah, no, I got everything I need.
Thank you both for your time.
Thank
No
you.
problemo. Also, you know, there's thought there were no cameras in this room, and I might have broken the fourth wall earlier. Fuck you, Leonard. I hate
What are you talking about?
He's not. He's.
Jaw jump.
Hey, this is a locked door. I'm not
Yeah, I
gonna
don't
walk
know.
through this because I'm
They
a
just
reasonable
phased
person.
they just phased through a locked door. I don't appreciate that.
Wait, can I get a
There
new
we
I
go.
ID?
Just
appreciate
gonna
that
wait my
debauchery
turn.
and black magic. No,
Alright, this way.
Is this how you get new IDs?
don't go into the meta room, Dorian.
I'm Leonard.
Excuse me?
I'm Leonard.
Don't do it.
No, I've been. Wait,
Wait, is this
what
how-
is that?
Wait, is
I
this how
must have-
Eugene?
Raven, I must have hit
Don't-
you really hard.
Is this how
Yeah, you
Eugene
did.
is
Don't-
only
This is-
12 days
it's
old?
storeroom.
Did he go
it's
into
a
this
door
room?
room.
Oh my God, don't. This is how we get all our investigations done.
Is this
You
how
see,
you?
Majority of the people in this city, every time they go to the hospital, we implant cameras into their eyes. And we
Mhm.
can bring that up on any of these screens.
This is where the CID
We get
meets.
all their thoughts.
Like I said, I'm asking a serious question. Holy fuck, what is happening with you, Shaw?
I just had to
Uh.
crawl up here.
Yeah, dance on the
On the
table,
table.
bitch.
I-
Ah.
All right.
Can we
for-
get some music?
You want to see something real quick? Oh, damn.
Okay.